Hi, this is Abul Hussain coming to you direct from London, the United Kingdom, and welcome to another episode of the 𝗏𝗻𝗶 Mastermind podcast, where we discuss how you can start or scale your digital marketing agency. And if you are watching this episode outside of our Facebook group, make sure to find the link above or below this video or go to 𝗏𝗻𝗆mastermind.com. Now, with that out of the way, I have a very special guest joining me all the way from New Jersey in the US. And she has just informed me that now her agency is ranked #1 in New York for PR and #2 for social media management. Her name is Dr. 𝗦𝗍𝗍𝗶𝗹, and she is the founder of Dr. Ruth's Writing. She runs a full service agency and has many accolades behind her. She's also an established author, a best-selling author with many publications behind her. Dr. 𝗏𝗍𝗍𝗶, or Marissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you very, very much. What an intro. That's awesome. Thank you.
I know you can do a much better job than that. So, for the people who don't know who you are, how about an intro that you actually deserve?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I started out as a freelancer, actually. I was in high school and my friends were all getting jobs at the mall and they were miserable with those. And I thought, oh gosh, I need to find an alternative to that. I don't want a job at the mall. And what went from, what was really teenage laziness became a career. So I wound up loving it. I loved freelancing. I started out copywriting and copy editing and found a passion in it. And nowadays you can't be a copywriter without learning SEO. So I learned SEO, and during that time I got my bachelor's, then my master's in communication. And I started to build up a team because, I realized I'm only one person. Things were going really well. I was getting, at that point, I had worked with like 1,000 clients. So I thought,
Wow.
You know what, let's offer other offerings. So I hired like a graphic designer, a LinkedIn expert, things like that. And I've just continued to grow the business. And then I got my doctorate in literature and continued on this trajectory of building up the company. And now we have 40 team members. We've worked with over 6,000 clients, and we do PR, SEO, social media, and ads for our clients. And it's really fun. And it was something that I never planned. Like, I did not know that this was something somebody could do 10 years ago. And it took, going into freelancing to go, wow, this is something that I could do. I get to be creative. I get to use my business sense. It's just the perfect mix of everything that I enjoy.
Well, that's an absolutely awesome story. So when you, I suppose, transitioned from being that freelancer to becoming, I suppose, Dr. Ruth's Writing, an agency that you have been running for 6 years now, I believe, kind of, how challenging was it for you to actually make that leap from being a freelancer with a lot of clients, and I'm guessing you were working a lot of hours, to actually being this business owner and more of a CEO as well, I suppose?
Yeah, it took a lot of mindset changes. I had to gain a lot of confidence really quickly, and thank goodness, I grew up in my parents' mom and pop carpet shop, so they're both entrepreneurs. So I'm glad that I had them to lean on, where my father, if I ever started to doubt myself in my company, he would, kind of tell me a story about his past, and I would be right back, on track. So it took a lot of, mindset work to start with. And I read a lot of books. I spent like an entire summer just reading business books. And the first one that comes to mind is Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Work Week. When I read that in 2013, I had, several clients, but there was one really big client that I was working with, and I was a college student at the time. And he would always just say, delegate. His favorite word was delegate. He would delegate everything that he did. And it is a huge mindset change to go from thinking I need to do everything myself because I know how to do it right, to thinking, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this myself so I could teach somebody to do it even better than I could. And I'm a big believer in that. So, I was a full-time student there for 10 years, high school all the way through getting the doctorate. So I had to manage my time very carefully. And, it was like 100-hour weeks where I would spend, 40 hours in school, 60 hours on the business. But it was definitely worth it, especially now where, I graduated in May. So now, I'm like, wow, I have a life again. I'm only working 40 hours. It's amazing. You appreciate things. And yeah, it's mindset is the biggest thing though. If you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to grow. You're not going to scale the right way.
Absolutely. So when you initially launched, what service were you offering your clients? Was it SEO or copywriting, or kind of did you go full service from day one?
Yeah, no, if we're going back to the very, very beginning where I was freelancing as a high schooler, that was editing. I saw a wanted ad for a woman looking for somebody to edit her children's horror book. And at that time, I had just self-published my first book. I was really into writing. I thought, hey, I know the process. I can help her edit it, and maybe I can help her publish it because I know how that process goes. And I did that, and she was thrilled. So she recommended me to a friend who recommended me to another friend. And I just kept editing books. And then I had people asking, hey, if you can edit, can you also copyright? So I said, okay, let me learn copywriting. And then I got, oh, well, since you copyright so well, can you do SEO? And I learned, oh, shoot, you need to learn SEO. And at the same time, I'm a millennial. So I was on social media, starting my Twitter and Facebook and all that. So I knew about social media. So I thought, you know what, if I do social media for myself, I can offer that for other people too. And it was just, it kind of snowballed. It was basically whenever a client would request something, I would learn how to do it or find somebody who was an expert that could help them. And that's how we grew.
Right, awesome. And in terms of, I suppose you've got 40 people right now. So how is your agency set up? I mean, how many people do you have going out there looking for new business? How many people are working on delivery? I mean, how, in a certain discipline, what's your internal setup like?
Well, the first thing that I like that sets us apart from others is, I know a lot of agencies, they're just outsourcing to people that they've never met. They're people all around the world, which is cool. Work with people all around the world, but you have to have trust. So a lot of my team are people that either I know personally that I went to school with, or people that were recommended to me, or people that have worked with me for a really long time. So like Lauren, for example, she started out as an intern with me 4 years ago, and she's been like my right hand ever since. James, I went to middle school with. Maria was referred to me by a trusted client when I was looking for somebody to do graphics. So like everybody there's that trust there. And I think that's really important because I've seen it go sideways before with other agencies where, they'll post a thing on Upwork looking for somebody to do something, and you don't know who those people are. So it definitely helps to have this trust relationship. Not to say Upwork is great. I've been working on Upwork. I've gotten a lot of leads on Upwork. It's great. My method though, from what, when I'm looking for somebody internal, I need to have that personal connection with them. So as far as how many people we have on our marketing end versus on our actual deliverables end, I was doing all of our phone calls for the longest time by myself because I have found sales callers to be the most difficult thing to find. So I didn't have that many people actually actively marketing for us. It's only more recently, within the past few months, I now have 2 people that do sales calls for us. And of course, we do what we do for our clients. So our SEO is tip top shape. If you type in writing and marketing, we're the first company that comes up, or writing and marketing in New Jersey, first company that comes up. We make sure that we update our social media and our ads all the time. So we do our services for ourselves as if we're our own clients. So I would say maybe only about 10% of our resources are for ourselves, marketing ourselves, and 90% is just for, delivering for our clients. Because that's the other thing, when you're around and you have great, great interaction with your clients, they're going to refer you to other clients. So you're not going to need to be as active in marketing. Do we still actively market it? 100%. We're a marketing company. Of course, we're going to actively market ourselves. But if we stopped marketing ourselves today, I'm confident that we would still have enough referrals coming in that we would be able to survive for years.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And your team of 40, are they like employees of your company, or are they like independent contractors and you are kind of, using a resource as and when it's needed?
Yeah, no, most of them do full-time hours. We do have several freelancers, but most of these folks are, doing 30 to 40 hours with us. And that's a really, really cool thing to know, like, wow, we're a team. It was a huge adjustment, I think, going from being a solopreneur and saying I for everything to realizing, wow, yeah, I would not be here without my team. It's a we, you know, and some of my team members, you know, Irma, I just found out she was doing work on Saturday night, and I just signed on today. I'm like, oh my gosh, Irma, what were you doing Saturday night? Like, she just did a bunch of work. It's amazing. So
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. Now, talking about the importance of digital marketing, when your clients come to you, what are their expectations from engaging with your agency?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what they come to us for, because we do 360. So our ideal client is somebody who they have a company that's like small to mid-size. So we work with a lot of like chiropractors, insurance companies, health and wellness companies. And usually they come to us and they have the basics. They understand why they need these things. They know that they need social media. They know that they need SEO. They understand the importance, but they don't have the time to do it themselves, and they don't have all the knowledge to do it the right way. So what we typically do is we interview them, we send them an onboarding sheet, find out, you know, all about them. We have a whole questionnaire. And with that, we create their editorial calendar for their social media, and we plan out all of their posts. We do research on their audience and hashtags, and we start posting that content. And we also run ads in conjunction with that, with the same branding in mind. We, you know, do the SEO. So we do regular blog articles and feature them on other websites. And then PR is also part of that, where, you know, we'll reach out to podcasts and shows and radio shows and get them out there as a subject matter expert. So all of those things work together. You know, if you have great social media, you have great SEO. If you have great PR, you have great SEO. They all go together. If you have great keywords, it's going to help make your PPC rates less expensive. So yeah, our clients, the expectation is just, you know, let us do what we do best. We're going to save you time. You know, we always like to not give our clients a lot of homework. We like to do as much as we can for them without making them do extra work. So yeah.
Hmm. Well, that sounds like a lot of work, and it sounds very expensive for someone who might be dipping their toes into, I suppose, agency land for the first time. So when you are, I suppose, kind of negotiating with the clients, are they usually asking for some sort of guarantees, or they're trying to lower their risk? Kind of, how do you manage that expectation?
Yeah, I mean, first, I try to keep our rates reasonable. They are pretty competitive. You know, I, I've been told by many business coaches, you really should raise your rates. I like being fair. You know, I grew up in a mom and pop shop. Like, I don't know, I like to help our clients. So I don't get that much pushback on our rates. But, you know, when you're working with a small business, they have budgets. And I definitely, you know, also I provide discounts for a lot of things. If, you know, I just had a client today, I found out he's a veteran. I said, we're going to give you a veteran discount. You know, we had somebody, she's a women certified owned business. So am I. I said, okay, we'll give you a discount. We had a chamber member. Okay, I'll give you a discount. So I always try things like that, giving them discounts when there's something like that, where it's like, okay, yeah, we can do that. But yeah, I think that's one way, you know, just personalizing it and also being flexible. So if, for example, a client can't handle our big package of SEO, PR, ads, and social media, we can just start with one. We can start with just social media, get their foot in the water, let them see what we do. As far as guarantees, I've learned there are so many variables that, you know, I just don't use the word guarantee. What I do is, if a client is dissatisfied, I have no problem returning their money. But I never guarantee something. And, you know, I can give you an example. We had a client where we wanted to get him on a bunch of podcasts and shows, and we sent him a list of like 100 podcasts that were interested in having him on their show. And he said, nah, I really just want to be on NPR. So like, that was something where, you know, we guarantee, where if we would have said we guarantee to have you on 5 shows, technically we wouldn't have fulfilled it, because even though we gave him 100 shows, he only wanted to be on NPR. So because there are so many variables and things that can happen, I just, you know, I say satisfaction is guaranteed. If you're not satisfied, yeah, I'll refund you. But yeah, I don't guarantee specific things like that.
Right. So if someone is watching this and they are a business owner who's looking to work with an agency, right? I mean, what is a fair expectation for them to have in engaging with an agency after, say, month 1, month 3, month 6? What KPIs should they be really holding that agency to account?
Yeah, my favorite clients are the ones that are realistic, because I've had folks come to me and they're like, I want to be ranked #1 on Google next week. And I wish I could make that happen. I could do all the work in the world, but it's up to Google's algorithms, how they update your rankings. So what I usually say is, within the first week, yeah, you'll see some more follows on social media. You'll see, actually week 1 is our onboarding. So once we do our first post, yeah, you'll see some new follows, you'll see some likes, you'll see some comments and things, but really it takes about 1 to 3 months to see your ranking increase. We're doing SEO for a client right now where he's in his first month, and he started out, he was on like page 3. Now he's on page 2. And I am very confident in month 3, he's going to be in the top spot. I don't guarantee that, because there are so many variables. Maybe somebody's going to hire spend $1 million on ads and be #1. But, I'm pretty confident in month 3, he will be ranked #1, because that's what most of our clients, what we've seen. Yeah. So, those kind of expectations, I think, are helpful to give them. And then by month 6, that's when they're already ranked #1. So we're just trying to keep them there. They've already been booked on shows. We're trying to get them bigger shows now. I had a client where month 1, he was a small blockchain company. Month 1, month 2, he was on some small shows. By month 5, we got him featured on Entrepreneur and Forbes. So different things like that. A lot of our clients, though, we've been working 2 to 4 years with already. And it's because of that, because, they get the process, they see what we're doing, they see the results, they're getting a high ROI. So, yeah, we like long-term engagement.
No, absolutely. And what does it take to be ranked #1 for PR and #2 for social media marketing? How does someone achieve kind of an accolade like that?
Yeah, so Thumbtack ranked us like that. And what it comes down to, they take into account your client reviews. So we have a lot of positive reviews, and they're all 100% real. And they're not all 5 stars, because they're 100% real. And there are some people who are just not going to give you that 5 stars. Just like, when I went to the Academy for Biomedical Sciences in high school, and they had a rule. Some teachers had a rule that they wouldn't give you an A. Like they said, nobody's perfect, so nobody can get an A. And I've run into clients like that, where you can do everything in the world, but they're still going to give you a 4.5. So we have a 4.5 rating, and we're still ranked #1. And it's because we have so many reviews, and they are so honest, and we do go above and beyond to make our clients happy. So they took that into account. They took the amount of reviews, the amount of hires that we've had. I think the fact that, we respond quickly to our clients, it mainly comes down to those things: response rate, client happiness, and the sheer volume of clients that we've worked with.
Well, that's still awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Now, I mean, before we kind of came on the show, we were talking about kind of how you have this world now where everyone's a social media marketer. And it's so kind of difficult, I suppose. It's a very crowded space. So often agency owners, or well, not agency owners, but businesses can't differentiate between who is legitimate and who is just chancing it and is 15 years old, doesn't know what they're doing. What are the key things to look out for when someone is engaging with an agency?
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, as somebody who was that 15-year-old, like saying, hey, I'm a social media expert, like that was me. And that's why now I make sure I have the Dr. Ruth name, so people know, oh, she's not a high school student. She has a doctor in this, like she knows what she's talking about. But yeah, and I have hired folks who said, oh, I'm a social media expert, and then found out, oh, not really. Some people, what they do is they have a lengthy interview process, but I don't like that. My interviews are notoriously short. For all of my 40 team members and previous team members who are no longer with me can tell you their first interview with me was probably 5 to 10 minutes. And that's because everybody sounds amazing on an interview. Everybody says what you want to hear. I've never had an interview with somebody where I thought, oh man, they don't know what they're talking about. Everybody, they sound good. And even if they're shy or something, you can chalk that up to just about anything. So I don't want to judge based on interview unless it's something like a phone call position. But these folks are creatives. They're not doing anything where it requires interviews or talking. So I do a very short interview. And then what I do is I give them a paid project. So, if they're, let's say they're coming on to do some tweets for us. So I'll give them a paid project where I'll assign them a client. And they have to write, say, 10 tweets, schedule them as if they're actually working for us. And then I have my team member, like one of our project managers, oversee what they're doing. And typically when this happens, when we're trying to fill a role, I'll hire 3 people to do this trial project. And every time it comes out the same way. One of them does mediocre work, one of them does decent work, and one of them does exceptional work. So the person that did the mediocre work, we pay them for their time, we say thank you, and we go on our way. The one who did okay work, we keep them, kind of on our list in case we ever need to fill, a position like a freelance position quickly. We have them. And the person who did excellent work, they're the ones that we continue to work with. And this has worked really well for us. And we've gotten a lot of great talent that way. And, by actually testing them in a real world setting, it works great.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great tip. I don't think I've ever done an interview that is 5 to 10 minutes long, but you're right. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, and that's in getting them to do the work. Now, someone who might be starting their journey as an agency owner, or there might be a freelancer who's trying to build a business. What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned over your career that you could share with them?
Yeah, the biggest thing, and my father told me this, but I didn't believe him. He told me right when I became an LLC, every day something is going to go wrong, and you're just going to need to know how to handle it and not, worry about it. And it took a very long time to realize that. But every single day, you can do all the precautions in the world that you want, but something is going to not be perfect. Something is going to be wrong, and you just need to know how to handle it. 2 weeks ago, our emails were down. We have had them hosted through the same cloud ways for years, but it decided to just go offline. Most people probably would have freaked out. No clients could contact us. We couldn't contact them. But I remembered my father's words, and I made everybody temporary emails with G Suite, and we'll use that until the emails are back up. But if I would have panicked, or if the team would have panicked, it would have done nobody any good. We would have just sat there like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? You have to expect these things to happen and then just move forward. It's really the only way. And it sounds obvious and it's easier said than done, but it's so true. If you can master that, you can pretty much do anything in your business.
Yeah, and I think hindsight teaches a lot of people that. Fathers tend to be quite right. So we are very fast running out of time. So final question for you. How do you stay on top of your game? Because obviously you are in a very competitive space. SEO is changing daily. Digital marketing techniques are changing daily. How do you kind of, as Stephen Covey would call it, sharpen your saw, I suppose?
Yeah, it's not even about what you know anymore. It's how quickly you can learn. So I am constantly reading, listening to podcasts, participating in webinars. It's really about staying up to date and being in the know. And I encourage all my team to do that, and really everybody who is in the space, just keep up to date, and keep your notes, and just, keep learning.
That's great. Absolutely great. On that note, Dr. 𝗫𝗍𝗶𝗹, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.